Hi BookTube! My name is Sarah and welcome to the Bookish Knitter. Today I am coming to you with my weekly reads video. This is for week number 37th and it is 37th. Yes, it's the 37th week. And this is September the 12th through the 18th. So today is the 18th. Happy Sunday, everybody, if you're watching this on the day that it gets posted. If you're not, happy whatever day of the week it is. So I have a lot to kind of go through in this video. This is like my catch-all video for the week, I guess, now that I'm not vlogging. But I have 4 books that I finished this week, so I'm going to share those 4 books with you. Share with you what I'm currently reading. And then I have a book haul. Yeah, I got books in the mail this week. And then Garrett and I went book shopping yesterday to a couple different places, to the thrift store and to Chapters Indigo. So, yeah, that was really fun. And what else? Oh, I'm going to be doing the wheel spin, the prompt wheel spin that I usually do in my, that I was doing in my reading plans videos, but now that I'm doing the Friday reads videos, I decided to put that prompt aspect here in these videos because I just think it'll just be easier. Friday reads, the whole point of them is quick, easy editing, get them posted kind of an idea. Very casual, very not something you have to really worry about. Whereas these, I'm going to take a bit more time, of course, doing editing and things like that. So, yeah, went and did a little bit of shopping yesterday. I have my, this is going to get hung up on the wall. I just need to get another hook. It says something, I don't know if you can read it, but this is going to be all Halloween decorated up very, very soon. Something wicked this way comes, as you guys know. Some call it Halloween decor. I call it home decor. So yeah, so I saw that at the dollar store. Was that at the dollar store? I think it was at the dollar store. So I, of course, picked that up. No, that was at Walmart. Saw that at Walmart. So I got that. And yeah, so like I said, a little bit of shopping yesterday. I went out this morning and I got a pumpkin spice latte from Starbucks because it's getting cooler. It's a little warm today. It's actually not too bad out today, but it's been cool. Like you can feel definitely that autumn is in the air. So cheers, everybody. So yeah, so let's jump into this video. Like I said, I finished 4 books, so I'm trying to gather my thoughts. I finished 4 books, but before I forget, timestamps will be in the description box below if you guys want to jump ahead to just the book reviews, or if you want to jump ahead to the book haul or to the spinning of the wheel. Please, by all means, go ahead and do that. That's why I put those timestamps there for you guys. So, 4 books that I finished this week. So the first book that I finished this week was The Cowgirl and the Country MD by Mann. This is the, sorry, I'm just looking at my notes here. Oh, that's really bright. Okay. This is book number 5 in the Top Dog Dude Ranch series. I have not read any of the other books in this series, but I was absolutely able to read this one as a standalone. It's a Harlequin special edition, and it has a release date of September 27th. So unless you buy it from the Harlequin website, this one will be available at your retailer of choice on the 27th, which is next Tuesday, I think. And this is, and I gave this book, guys, I gave this book 5 stars. I loved this book. It was so good. So this is the story of Eliza and Nolan. So essentially Nolan has had a pretty hard go of it over the last few years, 5 years or so. 5 years prior to the start of the book, his wife died. Unexpectedly, she was out gardening in the backyard and she had an aneurysm and she died, which is, you know, very, very sad. He found her and he's a doctor, and he's still kind of like wishing that he had done something more to try and save her. But of course, with an aneurysm, it's very quick. It's often unexpected. It's sadly, it's a thing. And, of course, Nolan is very devastated by it. And then 6 months prior to the book starting, so 4.5 years after his wife died, his son and his daughter-in-law were in a boating accident and they both died. So he is, he has sole custody now of his 2 grandchildren. He's a grandpa. That's part of what I loved about this book, that he's a grandfather. So they put him at the age of 49, and his grandchildren are like 4 and 2, and they are adorable. So, so cute. Gus and, I can't remember the granddaughter's name. Oh my gosh. Oh, I'll put it right down here. But the grandchildren are just absolutely delightful. Gus is 4, and the granddaughter is 2. So anyway, that's fantastic. And what it is he's trying to figure out how to deal with these kids, like how to parent these children. And the thing is that's discussed a lot in the book is that because he was going to medical school, because he was married at the time, and all these things, his wife actually is the one who took charge of looking after their son. Like, she was the sole caregiver. And he says it a lot in the book to himself, that he feels horribly that he wasn't there as much as he could have been for his son's, his son growing up. Like, he wasn't there for the everyday things, for the, the changing of the diapers, or the, taking them to school, or tucking him in at night and stuff like that, because he was so busy going to medical school and then building his medical practice. He left all of that up to his wife. And again, what I talked about in the One Night with the Maverick book that I loved so much, that I read a couple of weeks ago, they didn't downplay his marriage to his wife. He realized that he made some mistakes, and there's things that he's regretting now, that he wishes he had helped her more. He didn't understand how difficult that job was that she did, raising his son, or raising their son, excuse me. And I love that they didn't downplay the fact that it's not that he didn't love her or anything like that. He just realizes that mistakes were made, and he kind of wishes he could go back and change them. But he's trying to do that with his grandchildren. He's trying to make sure he's present and he's in their lives. And do you know what I mean? So anyway, long explanation. He ends up at this dude ranch, the Top Dog Dude Ranch. This takes place in Tennessee. And he meets a woman by the name of Eliza, and she is a cowgirl. She works at the dude ranch. She is a horse trainer. She does equine therapy as well. So she kind of helps Nolan start to deal with his grandchildren and how to spend more time with them. And he, of course, it's a very instant attraction between the two of them. And and he struggles with it a lot, because he's like, I'm here for these 2 weeks with my grandchildren. I'm not here for this. And she's like, being a good parent also means you can step away every now and then and have your own life. So of course it's the relationship between the two of them, but I loved it. So Nolan in the book was listed at 49 and she was 40. So they were older, and I loved it, and I was here for it, and it was fantastic. And yeah, I highly, highly recommend this book. Please, please go ahead and pick it up. Like I said, it's the 5th in the series. I have not read any of the other books in this series. Was absolutely able to read this one as a standalone. It was fantastic. Pick it up and read it. The next book that I finished was The Highland Fling by Meghan Quinn. I gave this book 4 stars. This is in case you're curious, you can pick this one up on Kindle Unlimited. I think most of Meghan Quinn's books are available on KU. So this is the story of Bonnie and Rowan. This one, I wanted to love this one more than I did, but it's actually Bonnie who annoyed me throughout a good chunk of this book, but she really kind of redeemed herself at the very end, which is why, like, if she had stayed as that character who she was throughout the bulk of the book, this probably would have only gotten a 3-star from me. But she really kind of came into her own. She was still a little annoying, but it wasn't as bad towards the end, which is why I bumped it up to a 4-star. So the plot of this book is about Bonnie and Dakota, who answer this ad online to go to Scotland to run this coffee shop in this little town in the Scottish Highlands. So they show up there. Both Bonnie and Dakota are coming off of bad breakups. Bonnie had just lost her job again. They were kind of in this like slump. What do we do with our lives? They're there for 6 months to try and find themselves. So they show up in this town, and Bonnie meets Rowan, who is the son of the woman who they're running the coffee shop for. And Rowan's parents are going on holiday for 6 months. And he doesn't like the fact, like, he literally finds out the day before that they're leaving that they're going on holiday. And he's really annoyed at that. And they show up in this coffee shop is like in ruins. Nobody actually ends up stopping there. And all these things happen. And this is a Meghan Quinn book. So for those of you who have not read her, she gets very, very spicy. So there's a lot of adult content in this book. There were some funny parts. But overall, what really kind of annoyed me was Bonnie herself. And I mentioned that. So she's extremely immature. Extremely immature. Like, she makes jokes out of everything. And it's like some things are just... And then... she picks fights with Rowan for no reason, and she doesn't listen to anybody, and she kind of is off doing her own thing, and there's a big fallout at the end, of course, not only with Rowan, which is that dark moment that's always talked about in romance novels. There's always a dark moment where, the couple is like, oh, I don't like you, and I don't want to be near you, and I'm going to go away now, and blah, 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 blah. And then, like, there's a resolution after that. But the dark moment not only involved her and Rowan, but also her and Dakota with something that she did. Again, did stuff without thinking about it. And that really, really annoyed me. Like, so anyway, at the end of the day, the one thing is, guys, that this is a longer book. It comes in at just shy of 400 pages, which for a contemporary romance novel, in my opinion, is just a tad too long. The audiobook, I think, is close to 13 hours. I didn't listen to this on audio. I did have it on audio, but I didn't listen to it on audio. And I liked it. Like, if you are a fan of Scottish romance, like Highlander romance, like modern day Highlander romance, you'll like this one a lot. The little small town was really quirky. They have this goat who goes around and screams at people. There's this set of twins who are very buff, and they have like this YouTube channel where they like throw logs and stuff like for exercise or fitness. Like, the town itself was delightful. It's again, Bonnie really annoyed me, but she's a main character, so it's kind of hard to get away from that. And the story is told in dual perspective, so you get like a couple chapters of Bonnie and a couple chapters of Rowan and so on and so forth. So there is a very sad bit at the end. I don't want to give anything away because it's spoilers, but it was there, you know, it was hard to read towards the end at certain points, but I enjoyed it. I mean, 4 stars. I did enjoy it. The next book that I finished, I'm not going to talk too much on because this I literally read in 45 minutes, and that was Teacher's Pet by Francine Pascal. This is the second book in the Sweet Valley Twins series. I gave this book 3 stars. It's fine. Elizabeth and Jessica are in a ballet class, and Elizabeth is the teacher's pet, and Jessica is not happy with that because Elizabeth is given the top spot in like the dance competition or the recital or whatever it is, and Jessica has her nose out of joint because she thinks that everything should be hers, and that the only reason Elizabeth got the part was because she's teacher's pet. And my issue with this one is at the end, Jessica didn't learn a lesson, which kind of really bothered me because, you know, if it had been that Elizabeth had been the better dancer and she won the spot because she was the better dancer, regardless of what, you know, the teacher thought of her or what have you, then, you know what, Jessica, I'm sorry, you don't always get all the things that you want. But the fact of the matter is that they had to prove that Elizabeth was in fact the teacher's pet, and that's the only reason that she got the part. So Jessica won the part anyway because she didn't learn anything. I don't know why that bothered me, but it really bothered me. So like I said, I read this one in about 40-45 minutes. It was a really quick read. It's kind of nice to get something done, which was great. And then the last book that I finished this week was Escape from Ice Mountain by Cassie Miles. This is a Harlequin intrigue novel. Again, it comes out in September 27th. So like I said about the Cowgirl and the Country MD, this one will be available in your stores next Tuesday. And I gave this book 3.5 stars. So this is the story of Jordan and Blake. And 3.5 stars, I'm almost tipping it towards maybe even a 3-star. I didn't love this one. And you guys know the intrigue books are some of my favorites. But this one I felt like Cassie Miles was trying to squeeze way too much into a book that's only 225 pages. There was so much going on. Like, for me to explain the plot to you, I legitimately couldn't. So what it is, pretty much the bare bones of it, is that Jordan is the mother of 2 twin little boys. She's separated from her ex. This thing happened that he actually had her committed to a psychiatric facility. And she essentially, with the help of someone who worked there, she escapes. And she breaks into her ex's house. Not breaks in, I shouldn't say that. She sneaks in during a party. She pretends she's a caterer. And or one of the wait staff, excuse me. And she kidnaps her children, her 2 twin boys. And then she meets up with this guy named, what was his name again? Blake. And her and Blake had a relationship 7 years earlier. Like, before she met her husband, before she had her twins. Her twins are only 5 years old. And so they're on the run from these bad people who are trying to look for her. And there's all these other things going on. And it's just very, very confusing. But I know this is going to sound so bad, but the one thing that really bugged me about this one is the 5-year-olds did not act like 5-year-olds. I have a 5-year-old nephew. He's currently outside and he's in the pool and he's screaming bloody murder because that's what 5-year-olds do. You know, he doesn't understand that, you know, indoor and outdoor, I mean, it's an outdoor space, but still indoor, outdoor voices. There's neighbors. The twins in this story, oh my God. They were driving a boat, guys. They were driving a boat. So, okay, there was an adult in the boat, but it was a speedboat, and he was letting a 5-year... I'm like, he's 5. Like, When kids are not written to age, drives me crazy. I don't know why it does, but it really, really does. Like, Blake is teaching them how to use maps. Like, I'm not saying my nephew would not be smart enough to figure that out, because he's a smart kid, and I'm not just saying that because he's related to me. But he is a smart, smart child. However, he's still only 5, and I just kept thinking about him, and I'm like, there's no way that these children are 5 years old. They were acting more about 9, maybe 10. So yeah, so that was a big thing for me. So that's why I said 3.5 stars, but I would almost edge it more towards a 3-star rating. Not a favorite. It's not part of a series. It is a standalone novel. So, if you read it, I didn't hate it, but there were definitely some things that were left to be desired with this book. And yeah, that's it, guys. That was my reading for this week. I had hoped to get more read. If you watch my Friday Reads video, you know I had a bunch of plans, and I'm still reading the same book, I think, that I talked about in my Friday Reads, maybe. Or did I finish? No, I think I was reading Ice Mountain, The Escape from Ice Mountain on Friday. So I did start another book, but Friday I did not get much read. I was working in the office, in a different office, so there was not a lot of downtime. It was really, really busy. And then on Saturday, yesterday, my husband and I were out for most of the day, so I didn't have a lot of reading time then. But today's Sunday, I would like to sit down and get this book finished, if at all possible. So what I am currently reading here is, let me just bring it up on my tablet. I am currently reading A Line in the Sand by Terry Wilson. I don't know if you guys can see that cover. It is adorably delightful. So this one has not been on any list that I talked about, like reading plans wise. But I think, as I mentioned, I'm participating in the Pass the Parcel Challenge. And this week's, I should have had this done on Friday. But alas, I'm a little behind. I plan on getting it done today, like I said. It was to read a book with an animal on the cover. And there is this cute little Cavalier King Charles. Is that a King Charles Cavalier dog? Lady, for Lady and the Tramp. That's what I think about. But I find it kind of interesting right now that I'm reading about this dog, which is a King Charles, a Cavalier King Charles. And currently, we now have a King Charles on the throne, which is, I don't know, I just found that kind of interesting. So I was like, oh yeah, that's kind of cool. So anyway, I'm really, really liking this one. I'm not going to talk too much about it. It's pretty much an opposites attract kind of scenario. He's a scientist who studies marine life, and this is the second book in the Turtle Island series. She works at the aquarium that he has taken over, and she is a mermaid. She dresses up as a mermaid, and she entertains the guests. And because the aquarium is hurting for money, he fires her, like right at the very beginning of the book, essentially. And then he has kind of a crush on her, and she's like, dude, you fired me twice. So this whole thing is kind of going on, but I am really enjoying this. So it's not for a fact that I'm not liking it, which is why I'm not picking it up. I literally have just been too busy to do any reading over the last few days. I have read a couple chapters every day, but not very much. I actually did more reading this morning on this book than I've done over the course of the last 2 days. So am I 40? I'm about 45% of the way through it. So yeah, I am enjoying it. It has been a lot of fun, and I'm looking to get it finished. So that is what I'm currently reading. So guys, should we get into the book haul? Because I got some books. So, excuse me for reaching. The first thing, whoops. So I'll show you the book mail that I've gotten over the last couple of days. So my husband came up the other day, and I think it was on Thursday. He's like, you got some stuff in the mail. And he brings up these 2 boxes. So the first one was from the lovely Darby Brom. She sent me her brand new book. It comes out on the 27th, so this comes out on next Tuesday. But I got this copy of it, and she did sign it to me. The inside, she did sign it to me. This is London Calling. So this is, I think, the 3rd book in the Friendship Chronicles series. For those of you who read the Shoe Diaries and Bloom Where You're Planted, this is book number 3. I still have not read the first 2 books in the series, guys, and I feel so bad about that. But that cover is just gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. So, yeah, I am looking forward to reading this one. But she didn't just send me the book. She sent me some swag, which I kind of love. So one of them is a boarding pass. How cute is this, you guys? Like, it is adorable. And it's got, like, my name, the date that the book is coming back, or the date the book is being released. And then it says, hope you're ready to take a trip with Robin to London, Derby. Isn't that delightful? I really would like to get, like, a board, like a pin board, like a cork board, and put it up behind me to put some of this stuff, because I think, like, I'm obviously keeping this. I think it's amazing. And then she sent me this sticker as well. I just love this. Side note. So I was watching, as I mentioned him before already, Tom Scott, and he did a video. I've been watching a lot of his like his older videos, excuse me. And he talks about these, because he's from London, right? About these iconic red phone booths, and how now they're actually being used as, like, they house defibrillators, which is absolutely amazing. And I kind of love that, because how many people use phone booths nowadays? But these are so iconic. Like, these are London, you know what I mean? So, I mean, clearly it's on the front of the book. And speaking of, she also sent me this. English afternoon tea. Very nice. And it's, of course, again, the iconic, you know, red London phone booth. If it was blue and it was a police box, it could be something from Sherlock Holmes. Is that? No, it's not Sherlock Holmes. Doctor Who. I don't watch either thing, or have never read either thing, so I don't know, I'm guessing. But I am familiar with the police box, because my ex-manager was a huge, huge fan of Doctor Who. She actually knit the scarf, which is very cool. So there's that. And then along with that as well, she sent a tea steeper. So for those of you who are not familiar with loose leaf tea, this is how you would do it. So I don't want to wreck my nails, because I just had them done. So this opens up, you put your loose leaf tea in here, and then you snap it closed, or make sure it's all closed up. And then you would put this in your mug, and the tea would steep through there, but you wouldn't get, like, the leaves all over the place. So yeah. So I think this is pretty cool. I'm definitely going to keep it, because I really, really like it. So yeah, that was very, very sweet of her to send all that to me. So thank you again, Darby. I really, really appreciate it. And yes, guys, pick up her book. I love the special edition books, clearly. These are some of my absolute favorites. So yay on that one. And then a viewer of the of my channel, I'm just going to say her first name's Carrie. Hi, Carrie. She sent me a message a while ago. She was at a thrift store. She's like, hey, I found these books. Are you interested? And I'm like, sure. I'm like, and she sent them to me. And it was so sweet of her. She did not have to do that, but she did. Excuse me while I reach again. So she sent all of these to me. And I am ready now for Garb August for next year. Although part of me wants to read a group of these, like, immediately. And I'm debating on, like, for October, because they're a little bit spookier. So she sent me this adorable card, which I just love. Again, I want to get, like, a board to pin all this stuff up on, because I kind of love it. So she sent me a whole stack of V.C. Andrews. Print books. Okay. So, and they all have step backs, you guys. So we have Rain, which is the first novel in the Hudson series. So that's Rain. And then we've got the step back here. Very creepy. I mean, these were all, like, this was my high school years, was reading all of these books. So I got that one. And then Lightning Strikes, which is the second book in that Hudson series. So there's the cover. And then again, we get that delightful step back. Very, very creepy. Like, very, like, who's that guy at the window? Creepy, right? I don't remember these ones. Like, I really, really don't remember reading them or when I read them. And then she got me, they had two books in the Wildflower series. So I got the first book, which is called Misty. So there's Misty. Now there's no step back on these. These are much shorter. Almost, I want to say almost novella length. No, they're almost 200 pages. I don't know if, would that be 150? Yeah, that's a novella, I think. But the actual picture would be on the back here. So there's that one. And then Star is the other one. And then the back, right? So there's 4 of these. So I need to get the other 2, plus the full-length novel that, you know, puts all 4 books together. And then, to show you how that format goes, is I have the entire series of this. And these are the ones that I'm debating on reading, like, next month in October. Because these are really creepy. Now, this is the Runaway series. The Orphans. The Orphans miniseries. That's right. So what you get is you get an individual book for each of the characters, right? And then you read the full-length novel that has them all in there. So the 4 books, book number 1 is Butterfly. So there's Butterfly. You can see, like, look at how creepy that cover is, you guys. It's, you know, it's like sparkly, so it's kind of hard to show with the light. And then the back of the book, she's a ballerina, clearly. And then book number 2 is Crystal. So there's Crystal again. Really shiny, sparkly covers. And then there's the back. And then book 3 is Brooke. So there's Brooke. And then the back. So all about orphans. And then Raven is the last one. So there we go. Kind of creepy, right? Like if I read one of these a week, like just one of these short ones, if I picked one every week in the month of October, then in November, maybe read this one, Runaways, which is the 4 of them together. Friends Forever, the 4 orphans together at last. And then there is a great step back to this one. So yeah. The Spellbinding Orphan series concludes with this thrilling new novel from V.C. Andrews, who, side note for those of you who don't know, I'm pretty sure she died just after Flowers in the Attic. So everything written since Flowers in the Attic has been ghostwritten. So yeah, that's interesting. But anyway, that's kind of my thought. That's a maybe. We shall see if I do that. It might be kind of fun. So anyway, there's those. And then last but not least, I told you guys, I got some books. I got a stack here. We went book shopping, my hubby and I. So the first place we went, we went to the thrift store, and Garrett found a few things, and then I found a couple books. He actually bought more books at the thrift store than I did. He got 3 and I only got 2. I was looking at the Harlequin, the categories, as you guys know, but I'm like, I need to get the collection organized before I buy any more. It's kind of my end goal at this point, but I am picking up other things. So I found this on the shelves, and I was amazed. So this is The Last to Vanish by Meghan Miranda. This is her newest book. This literally just came out like a month ago, and it was already at the Value Village, and I paid $5 for it. Like, hello, you know? So I am looking forward to reading this one. I think it's going to be really good. I do like her stuff. I know for a lot of people her stuff is hit and miss, but I am very, very much looking forward to that one. And then I found this, and I am on a quest to collect all of Heather Graham's Crew of Hunters books in hardcover. I know they're hard to find, but that's kind of my goal. So I got Deadly Touch by Heather Graham. Again, Crew of Hunters. I think this one came out last year. Again, I paid $5 for this, and it was regularly $35. So that's not too shabby. In terms of Value Village, I know I've mentioned them before that I've had issue with the fact that like the category romances are almost $2 a piece, which I kind of have a hard time with. But when you're talking about something like this, like a hardcover book that is $35, that I can justify $5 at the thrift store. 100% justify it. This came out, when did this book come out? I'm pretty sure this is last year. No, 2 years ago, 2020. So this came out a couple of years ago. So yeah. So there's that one in hardcover. Very excited to have that. Anytime I find them, I pick them up. And then we went to... No, hold on. Yes, let me do this first. And then we went to Chapters, Indigo. And Garrett got the new Stephen King fairy tale, I think. He started it this morning. He says to me, he's like, I need a bookmark, and I know you have some. So he's been slowly getting back into reading, and I'm very, very happy about that because I know it's something that he enjoys. So they had, the Stephen King book was 30% off the hardcover, plus I had a $20 voucher, like gift certificate, for Chapters Indigo. So pretty much that book was free, so we really only paid for mine. So I got this one, first of all, the new Susan Wiggs, which is called Sugar and Salt. I am very excited about reading this one. I love the cover of this book. The New York Times bestselling author of The Lost and Found Bookshop returns to Perdita Street with a can't-miss tale of friendship, hardship, redemption, and love between a San Francisco baker and a barbecue master from Texas. Does that not sound delightful? Like, oh, I cannot wait to read this one. It's going to be so, so good. And then Garrett was looking for something, actually in the young adult section. It's a James Patterson, one of those ones that James Patterson writes with like everybody else. It's called Witch and Wizard or something like that. And he had found the second book at the thrift store, so he bought it. And he was looking for book number 1, so it was in the YA. It would have been in the YA section. And we couldn't find it, but I was kind of like just looking through. And this book kind of caught my eye. And I'm like, I am very interested. And it's called The Lake, and it's by Natasha Preston. Okay? So there it is. Creepy, right? But it's YA. And it says, welcome to Camp Pine Lake, where the only thing scarier than a ghost story is the past coming to haunt you. So when I read the back, I definitely got I Know What You Did Last Summer vibes, which came out when I was it was a movie that was popular when I was like in high school, early college. So yeah, and I know that they've remade the movie. The original is still my favorite. Sorry to say so. But Natasha Preston, what really got me is that I'm pretty sure that her books, like she got her start writing on Wattpad, which is that online site where you put up your books or whatever. I think Anna Todd did as well. Am I correct in that assumption? But that's my understanding. So I don't think this book was on Wattpad, but I think it was another one of hers. But she does thrillers. The Cellar, Awake, The Cabin, You Will Be Mine, The Lost, The Twin. So I'm looking forward to this. I do like thrillers, and the idea of a YA thriller just really appeals to me because, you know, I'm not a fan of scary movies. Actually, let me rephrase. I love the movie Scary Movie. Those are fantastic. But scary movies in general, like I will not watch Saw. I will not watch, like, I have never seen the one with Anthony Hopkins, Silence of the Lambs. Stuff like that, I don't like it. But when it comes to those movies like I Know What You Did Last Summer or Scream, like that series, I really liked those movies because, well, there was a lot of violence in them and a lot of like stuff, like creepy stuff. I guess because they're teenagers, it kind of takes the creepiness aspect down just to, does that make sense? So yeah, so I am really looking forward to this one, and this one is going on my TBR for the month of October. I really want to read it in October because I think it's going to be really, really good. It says The Lake Never Forgets. So yay. And I think it's going to be a really quick read too because it's YA. So now, prior to that, sorry, I kind of did these out of order. We went out on Friday night. Garrett and I went to the mall because I wanted mall food for dinner. I wanted to go to the food court for dinner on Friday night because it was Friday and I'd worked all week and I wanted to go to the mall. And we went to the Kohl's store in the mall. We still have, for other Canadians, there's still a Kohl's store in our mall in Pickering, the Pickering Dale Center. And I got the new Sarah Morgan, Snowed In for Christmas. This is the first time in years that her Christmas book that I have preferred the North American cover to the UK cover. This is like the first time in years. Usually I am a UK cover snob, but I really, really like the North American cover. And I saw it. And again, I have the membership, so I got 10% off or 20% off or whatever it was. So yeah, so I got the new Sarah Morgan. Really looking forward to this one. Her books are just synonymous with Christmas. I read her new Christmas book every year, so I'm probably going to read this one in November or December. And then, speaking of books for Christmas, I will be reading this one also in November or December. I went ahead, I did get the e-art copy. Actually, I got the e-art copy for this one as well. But I wanted, because it's Sarah Morgan, I want to support her as an author. And I wanted to do the same thing for Rowan Parrish. And I actually bought The Holiday Trap as well. I got this one off of Amazon because I couldn't find it anywhere in the stores until we were in Chapters Indigo last night. And then I saw it. I'm like, oh, well, whatever. I got it off of Amazon. I'm a little upset because it's a little damaged. It's a little bent up here, but whatever. Thanks, Amazon. So this is essentially, from my understanding, from when we got the joy of talking to Rowan last year, she talked about this book and that she was writing this book and she wasn't too sure where it was going to go or whether it was going to be picked up by a publisher or anything like that. Clearly it did. And this is the movie, like it's kind of a retelling of that movie, The Holiday. But it's both couples are LGBTQ. So you've got a gay couple and a lesbian couple. So yeah, and it's like New England to New Orleans. So I guess they're switching houses, kind of an idea over the holidays. So yeah, I am very, very excited. This is again going to get read either in November or December. Probably November. I know I saw on Instagram that Brie read it and she absolutely loved it. So I'm really, really looking forward to it. It's a chunky monkey. So it's going to be good. But yeah. So there is the massive book haul, my friends. The big book haul. So that's pretty much it. The only other thing that I want to do, of course, is spin the wheel. So let me go ahead and get that ready. Okay, my friends, let's go ahead and spin the wheel. Yay! Okay, read a book with a pink cover. This is going to be easy. I need to get this one read because I am doing a buddy read on the channel. So let me grab the book. So the book for this week, My Killer Vacation by Tessa Bailey. I need to get to this. I know a lot of you have already been reading it. I've seen your posts in Discord, and I know a lot of you have been enjoying it, and I need to get this read. So yay on this one. Definitely has a pink cover to it. That worked out very, very well. I was hoping that someone was going to come up that I would find something for the prompt for this one. But regardless, I was going to just try and read it anyway. So yay. So there is this week's pick for the prompt. So let me know again in the comment section below or over on the Discord what you guys are going to be reading. But anyway, guys, that's all that I have. I know I showed you some crafting last week. I did not get much done on my socks or anything like that. It's just been it's been a really busy week. Oh, update. So I was at the doctor's on Monday. I went to the hospital for my follow-up. And the good news is that they're not going to do the procedure. He said, like, I've had that procedure done 3 times in the last 3 years, twice in February and then once back in January of 2020. He's like, let's give you a break from that. The medication is doing its job. We will keep you on the medication, and then if anything changes, we'll revisit at that time. But for right now, we're just going to worry about, we're just going to deal with the meds, and I go back and see them again in 6 months. So I was super pumped when I left there. I was really, really happy because it's not the most horrible procedure in the world, but it's far from how I'd prefer to spend my time. So if I can get away with not having to have it done, I'm a happy camper. So yay on that one. I'm very, very happy about that. So anyway, guys, that is all that I have for today's video. I do hope that you enjoyed it. Coming up on the channel later this week, on Tuesday, I'm going to be pulling the numbers for the October TBR bingo for those of you who might still be participating in that or still doing that. I'm, of course, going to pull the numbers for you guys. And then on Thursday, we're going to have another bunch of books that I got from NetGalley this week, or from the publishers and the authors this week. I think there's 14 books this week. Guys, this is crazy. And crazy in a good way. And then, of course, Friday will be a Friday Reads. And then we'll be doing this all over again. So yeah, so anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed. And until my next video, take care and happy reading. Thank you all so much for watching. Bye, guys.